Hello and welcome to our second video where I will be showing you how to complete some of the problems from chapter 3. Now the first problem is to perform each conversion. Alright, so our first one is 45.6 joules to little calories. So we always start with what we are given, which is the 45.6 joules times. Now if we look at our conversion factors in the chapter, you can see that 1 little calorie is equal to 4.184 joules. So joules is on the top, so the joules must be on the bottom. So there's 1 little calorie for every 4.184 joules. Now joules cancels out, so we're left with our little calories. We input this into our calculator and we get 10.898. Now we need to get the correct answer with sig figs. So our given number is 3 sig figs, so our answer must be in 3 sig figs. So our final answer is 10.9 little calories. Our second problem is 355 little calories to joules. Now this is just the opposite of what we just did. So as always, we start with what we were given, which is 355 little calories times 1 calorie for every 4.184 joules, except this time the 1 calorie is going to be on the bottom. So we have 4.184 joules per 1 calorie. The little calories cancels out. And once we input this into our calculator, we are left with 1485.32. Now the answer needs to be in 3 sig fig. So our final answer is going to be 1490 joules. Our next one is 44 kilojoules to calories. So as always, we always start with what we were given, which is the 44 kilojoules times. Alright, so now we need to change kilojoules into joules. So we know that there is 1,000 joules for 1 kilojoule. Okay, so the kilojoules cancels out. Now we need to go from joules to little calories. So there is 1 little calorie for every 4.184 joules. Joules cancels out. Now we need to go from little calorie to big calorie. So there is 1 big calorie for every 1,000 little calories. Okay, so the little calories cancels out and we're left with big calories. Okay, so we input this into our calculator and we get 10.516. Now the final answer needs to be in 2 sig fig, so our final answer is going to be 11 big calories. Finally, our last problem of this set is 113 little calories to kilowatt hours. So as always, we start with what we are given, which is the 113 little calories times. Okay, so when you look in your book, you will see that the conversion to kilowatt hours uses joules. So we need to get calories into joules, which is doable. So we know that for every 1 little calorie, there are 4.184 joules. Calories cancels out. Now we left with joules. So now we can use that conversion factor from joules to kilowatt hours. So we know from our textbook that 1 kilowatt hour is equal to 3.60 times 10 to the 6th joule. Our joules canceled out, so we are left with our kilowatt hours. Now we input this into our calculator and we get 1.3133 times 10 to the negative 4th. Now this is not the correct answer with sig figs. Our sig figs needs to be in 3 since 113 is in 3. Therefore, our final answer is 1.31 times 10 to the negative 4th power.